I'm just gonna hit the go live a couple minutes early, make sure everything's good. Kind of have a little bit of a chill vibe. I'm just gonna hit the go live a couple minutes early, make sure. Boom. Alrighty, for anybody joining now, we're just kind of hanging out. What up, Doomsage? How you doing? Your bot is ready? Hell yeah, it is. I put up in front of you the updated Faction War stuff. Let's see, is there anything behind my fat head? Yes, there is. So this is the updated Faction War. We held one today, midday, where people could play whatever they want. Whoever got the furthest as each thing got the spots. These are all the spots filled in. Now, there are some questions. Why does Lizardmen still have a question mark? Because no one played them today. We had like 3 or 4 vampire counts, but no one played the lizards, so then nobody got that spot yet. What are with all the black boxes? Well, we have 23 factions. To get a nice bracket of 32, I need to add 9 slots. So the top 8 from tonight's tournament will go into the black boxes, no matter what faction they played. Top 8 go in the black boxes. Then after that, I'll go through, find anybody else. Like, you know, if a greenskin player didn't make the top 8, I'll find a greenskin player and put him in for the greenskins, right? So we'll fill them out, whatever. If you play, see, void laws is vampire counts. So if you don't make top 8, you're playing vampire counts, you're 9th place. Well, when I look past the top 8, I'll see Void Laws already has vampire counts, so sucks to be you, right? So, yeah. So, I mean, people know they can try to use something that isn't already taken in the top 8. Because then if you don't make top 8, you have a fallback plan of like, well, if I'm the 9th place person and I'm Wood Elves, at least the other Wood Elf was like 16th place, and then I beat them, and I still get to be the Wood Elves. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who we fill out. If not, I'll just go around and find some people who play those factions and invite them with all of my human boy bias. But we are for sure filling the 8 question mark boxes for sure tonight. All right. Blood Penguin told me to check him in as Korn, so he is here. I signed him up as Slaanesh because I wasn't actually sure if he was gonna like make it to the check-in or not. And I know he plays really good Slaanesh. I know I need a Slaanesh, so I was like, Mr. Overlord is not checked in. Hold on. It's 7:31, so we'll get this moving in a second. Recents, Josh, call. All right. Okay, that's all I was checking in on. All right, sounds good. Have a good night. All right, he's not playing. Did this thing finally do its check-in yet? Boop. Process check-in results. Cool. I also need to tell people that this is happening now more officially. All right, human videos. Add everyone. Round 2. Shuffling, then we get going. All right, so participants. Making sure everybody who's signed in right now has a faction. Yep, we're good to go. Bracket. Oh yeah, I have to actually shuffle it. God damn, human boy, get it together. Get it together. All right, done. All right, let's make sure there's no shit matchups or clan matchups. High Elves versus Ogres. That is terrible for Ogres. What are you? Dowie? Dowie versus High Elves. Dowie versus Ogres. Dowie versus Ogres is more even. Empire versus VP. I feel like that's workable. Beastmen versus Zinch. That's utter garbage. That's utter garbage. I have to think about that. Wood Elf Mirror. Perfect. I will definitely not let that happen. Korn versus Tomb Kings. Wood Elves versus Tomb Kings also sucks. Lizardmen versus Tomb Kings is okay. I've played that one before. It's not great, but we're kind of running out of things we can do here. So let's take the Wood Elf Mirror, switch it around. So we'll have Ogres versus Wood Elves and Kislev versus Wood Elves. And then we also avoid the RTK thing, so that's fine. Oh, God. So we need to get Beastmen and Tzeentch separated. Well, the easiest thing is to get High Elves in here. How's that going to work? High Elves and Tzeentch, I think that's even. Beastmen and High Elves, I think that's High Elf favored these days. So we're going to throw Black Knight with Everchicken. I think these are okay. I think the only thing I'm still worried about is Empire versus VP. A part of me thinks that's going to be a bad time for Guillaume. But I don't know. I don't know, and that's the hard part. Poor Golden Floof. He's up against Khorne. I mean, Khorne itself is not that bad, but Blood Penguin's fucking nuts. But I think that's the best we're going to get. So let's start this thing. Let's get it going. Uh-oh. When it takes that long to hit start, you know something's funky. All right, let's refresh it and see what happened. Big JP still there. Everybody's still where I left them, so I think we're okay. I think it's just lagging. There. I was worried like somebody joined last minute or something and it fucked with my whole bracket. So, should be good to go. Empire into Dowie? Why? What did I do? Your Ogre's into Dowie. I mean, Ogre's... Yeah, okay. Ogre's into Dowie. Yeah. Come on, screw. I wouldn't do Empires into Dowie. I'm not a bad person. Alright. Calling him on stream... It's the greatest, but bestest. It's the best, greatest, not human caster. And that is true, says Spikeman. Ogres versus Widows. Why do you hate me, John? I didn't mean to hate you. It just kind of happened. Hi, Adelmo. Blood Penguin. Nobody's happy. Look at Golden Floof. Oof. All right. Okay. Wait for me in semis, otherwise go. So we'll just join the first lobby I find. Oh, I see Call HR. Alright. So we'll pop over here. Call HR versus John FB. Two cool people. No Nurgle, what a joke. Schnoz, you already got Nurgle. It's locked down. People don't want it. It's going good. How about me? I'm good. I'm chilling. We had a great stream today. The game's been a bit slow right now because people are waiting for a patch or something to shake up the meta a little bit. Participation in a lot of tournaments has been down. That's been kind of a bummer, but things are picking up recently, and also I've just embraced like that these things come and go. I've been playing some more games in my old time, so happens. I joined Call HR's game, and it says Mr. Snake for eyes, and he's currently on Vampire Coast, so I wonder if I made a horrible mistake. It's nice seeing Call HR. Yeah, Call HR's a bro. He's a real cool dude. I think he's on Logic's admin team, which I'll do some promotion for that tomorrow, but there's been enough pings today with the faction war stuff going on. Logic Shortbeard League is officially starting back up, so I will let any of our new players know that and try to get them over there. It's a pretty good system. Leagues for new players is nice because they can like play in a competitive format but not just get blasted by Anticity round 1 or Void Laws round 1. We've ran some new player events, but like a whole league takes a lot of time, and we're already busy doing a bunch of other stuff, so yeah. Last time I saw Call HR, he stomped me into the ground, but yeah, he's nice. Yeah, he's a nice dude. Looks like we have Wood Elves Ogre Kingdoms. How different is the land battle meta from Dom? It's been a while since I watched any land. It depends on the meta of Dom, but right now Dom's meta, from what I saw, seemed to be either infantry spam or... Cheese sounds harsh, but like, I don't know what else to call it. Like spawning artillery, but then desummoning them as soon as anything gets close. So I don't know. The land battle right now is mostly Cavalry and single entities, I would say. But it's hard, because obviously that varies from faction to faction. But overall, cavalry factions are performing quite well. Chaos factions are performing quite well. Skirmish cavalry is performing very well. And anybody with hard-to-kill single entities is doing quite well. Factions that rely on infantry spam or artillery are not faring super great. But that's enough generals. If you're just looking for which factions are strong, all the Chaos factions are pretty strong. Some people say Nurgle is, some people say Nurgle isn't, some people say Khorne is, some people say Khorne isn't. All the rest are universally agreed upon to be strong. Undead are all three too strong right now. And then right beneath them is Skaven and Dark Elves. And then anything I didn't just list is struggling. So Land Battles kind of has... Oh, High Elves too. Land Battles has a pretty unfortunate break between the top tier factions and the bottom tier factions. Where at the top levels of play, it's like... You're only going to see the top tier factions because they're just so much better. But we'll see what the patch brings. I have been talking to CA... about some balancing stuff, and they seem pretty receptive to it, so we'll see what they do. Bretonnia isn't shit tier in land battles compared to Dom. Khorne is worse in land battles because of their balance of power. That's true. The balance of power. We had a super close Vampire Counts versus Khorne game earlier today that Khorne got completely bullshit army lost, and it was hilarious but also sad. Because Lucinia was playing Khorne, and it felt like every hit his Blood Brute Behemoth got on the Vampire Counts, the balance of power got worse for him because the Vampire Counts just own CA at this point. And they were like behind in the control room like, we're losing, do something! And this like poor tech with like 5 cups of coffee, and he's like sweating. He's like, I don't know what to do, man! It killed your lord! It's killing your terror guys, we have nothing! Just trip the balance of power on him. But we can't! He's doing better and better! The situation's getting better for him, not worse. Just do it. Okay. Army loss and just get rid of him. And so that's fucking sad. But yeah. Aside from that, a lot of the low tier factions are like workable, but they just can't compare to Chaos right now. Right? If you take Greenskins, if you're like a 7 out of 10 player and you're playing a 7 out of 10 player who's playing a Chaos faction, Greenskins are going to get owned. Slanesh will roll them over. Khorne will roll them over. Tzeentch will Lord Snipe them and roll them over. Warriors of Chaos will do all of those things at the same time because they're Warriors of Chaos. So, it's hard. As for this matchup, Wood Elves versus Ogre Kingdoms, I have not actually gotten to see this one. Wood Elves have been debatably the worst faction in land battles since Warhammer 3's release, and Ogre Kingdoms have not been faring much better, so it's kind of a bottom versus bottom tier fight. Which means I don't get to see a lot of reps it. So I don't know what the meta is. This is all new country to me. John FB is quite a good player. He's usually on late at night. Call HR used to be quite good. I haven't seen him in forever, so I have no idea. Maybe he's been slamming out domination mode and he's still fresh. If that's the case, then John might be in trouble. If Call HR is a little rusty, then John might be okay. But I don't know. John's been playing. He's been good. Usually plays a lot of Skaven, though. He's a bit of... Well, he also plays Nurgle. He played Nurgle before IE came out. I don't know. He seems like the type of player who just plays whatever he feels like playing at the time. It's hard to pin him down. Kali Char has played Wood Elves for a long time. Most light cav is doing well. Most heavy cav is not. Tell that to Khorne, dude. Blood Penguin keeps sprinting over me with his Skull Crushers and Blood Crushers. But I think Blood Penguin's just built different. Alright. Ogres are still repositioning, so are the Wood Elves, so I'm just going to stall for time a bit. If you haven't been around stream much, you know I hate trying to talk about a build and then it's moving all over the place, so I can't keep track of it. So we'll just delay for a second. River Amixon recently made its way back into the tournament map scene. I cut it because originally, I know a lot of Warhammer 2 players didn't like it, but enough people talked to me and said that they wanted it back, and we're giving it a shot, so. River Amixon back in the rotation. All right, Ogres are mostly set up, so I can start talking about their build. Ogre Bulls and Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist spam. This is generally the best way to do Ogre frontlines, because if you go more expensive, they tend to not do that much better due to the monstrous infantry limitations of like running into each other and getting all stuck on things. Then you have a 1,500 gold unit potentially doing that versus a whole bunch of 500 gold units. It's much less likely you have those issues when you have, 10 of them versus 3 of them. Because if 1/3 of your force is bugging out, then you're like really screwed versus 1/10. Nobbler frontline to give him some support. We do have the Snowhorn of Morn. Interesting. This is the first competitive game I've seen him in that wasn't just like a for fun replay. Then we have a Slaughtermaster the Great Maw with Troll Guts and Bone Crusher. A second Stonehorn with the Hunter over here. No items, just a Hunter? No, he does have the Nobbler Thief Stone. Okay, so he has that. And in the back, a couple of the Sabertusk packs. On the side of the Wood Elves for Call HR, we have 4 Glade Riders with Spears. Very nice light cab for him. Some Dryads, some Eternal Guard, a whole bunch of Glade Guards, some of which are Fire Shaft, some without. We have a Spellslinger of Life with Dwellers Below and Earthblood. Now, Dwellers Below versus the Ogres is uniquely not that great. It's not that great versus monstrous infantry or cavalry, and that's usually what the Ogres rely on. Now, it's still fine. It's just not great. It's not the world-ending destroyer of everything that you used to know. Sisters of Twilight are going to be firing down at the Stonehorn, and they do have Armor Sundering on their attacks, though we'll see how much it matters, because Stonehorns tend to have just so much armor that it doesn't matter. And I am very concerned for Kalichar's build, honestly. He does have the right idea with Spear and Archer spam. That is overall good versus the Ogres, but the Wood Elf frontline is not something that holds, and a lot of his carry potential is in stand and shoot archers, not like Deepwood Scouts that can run and shoot at the same time. Now, the Hunter is getting completely obliterated, and a follow-up Dwellers Below from College are just destroying this entire area, pushing off some Nobblars already, and without the Nobblars, the Ogre Bulls will start to take a ton of damage from those spears. And I am shocked at how well the Glade Guard and Starfire Shafts are doing. They are just murdering this Hunter. He already has a Troll Guts going for him, and it's just not helping enough. Snowhorn of Morn is currently surrounded. Uses Glacial Defense on himself to protect him with a little bit of that Sundered armor. And here is a big moment for the Ogre Kingdoms to get back in this. They have suffered heavy losses. Look at the damage values. 1,300 versus 4,000. But the Sabertusk packs are here, and the Nobblars have gotten through the front line. And if we can just shut down these Eternal Guards, maybe they can bump and grind their way to a victory. But man, Call HR, that is some opening salvos. We have Ogre Bulls running off. This Hunter is not coming back. Negative 46 leadership and being chased down by the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. That is really brutal stuff. Stonehorn is getting freed up. I wonder if the Ogre Bulls will commit to fighting the Sisters for a little bit longer, or if the Stonehorn is going to run along the lines. But you can see the Wood Elf archers are not having such a good day. All of them along the back are at half HP. Yeah, Hunter is shattered. Wood Elves are ahead on the balance of power, and I would tend to agree. That was just a brutal opening salvo. Can they hold on to this, though? John FB is climbing back in the damage value. From being almost 4,000 down, he's now only about 1,500 behind. As the Wood Elves are not as good at staying in the melee as some other factions. Wood Elves are starting to rout. It's getting risky. When I said I was stomping on the ground, I wasn't kidding. Yee. Kind of surprised the Sisters of Twilight have been able to stay on the ground in the middle of Ogres for this long and not take that much damage. Snowhorn of Morn is also just vibing, doing his own thing, and the Ogres are clawing this back to about even balance of power already. Sisters are still firing well in melee, and now it looks like they will finally leave this place and get up into the sky. Wood Elves are breaking all across the board. We see their front line is faltering, their back line has fallen apart. I'm getting a little nervous. Snowhorn gets the Butcher. That is going to accelerate him right back up to full HP. He's going to be just fine. Butcher is an incredible heal if you get to the tier 3 army ability of the Ogres. I think it might be the best tier 3 army ability in the game. Maybe the Tzeentch one. Maybe. Sword of Corn's like nice, but it's not that incredible because it doesn't have armor piercing. It's good. Like, don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to think of what the best tier 3 army ability, and it's probably Butcher. It's just such a big heal. Like, look at that. You brought that Snowhorn up from half HP to almost full. It's like 3,000 healing. Do Sisters have Woodsmen? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it, but I could be missing it. Mass Wood Elf Exodus on the back line. They are all running in different directions. It looks like the Ogres are just going to focus on pushing them off once and for all, make sure they can't slowly rally and get their shit together. We do have some Eternal Guard protecting this last Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts, pushing some Nobblars off, and the Wild Hunters of Kurnos plus these other Glade Guard are finishing off some Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist. So both sides just content to lick their wounds for the moment and reset battle line somewhere else. But a huge pick for the Ogres. Spellsinger of Life gets caught up in some of these Sabertusk packs. They are large. They're not normal dog units. They are large size, so she doesn't have the mass to get out of them, especially on a horse. Horse characters are infamously bad at pushing through anything. And yeah, she is routing. I doubt John FB's going to let her come back. I doubt it. Ogre Bulls are fighting with the Glade Riders of Spears. Glade Riders of Spears, even though they have Spears, they don't actually have anti-large, so that doesn't mean they are that favored here. Sisters of Twilight still shooting at the Snowhorn of Morn. I do wonder if their ammo would be better spent on the Slaughtermaster, but I think at this point, they've done so much damage to the Snowhorn that they think they just have to keep focusing on it because the healing cap will approach soon, while the Slaughtermaster hasn't been damaged, it also gets its healing cap back. Nice job from HR. Throwing some light cavalry into the fray just to hold things back, and these Sabertusk packs are rampaging, so they can't actually be targeted on the Spellsinger of Life. So he got his caster back, which is going to be huge for him. He's going to win this game. Now, as far as things stand, he does have anti-large elite cavalry, which there's a nice juicy pocket of all ogres, no noblars over here that could be charged, and they are far away from their lord at this moment. Other than that, the ogres are down to mostly noblars in their central formation, and the Snowhorn does have its healing cap within sight. Sisters have some ammunition, not a lot, only 4 volleys left, which actually means 8 arrows, which actually could mean up to 16 arrows, depending on how they feel like counting ammunition today. We do have some Glade Guard Starfire Shafts getting rallied. I do worry the Wood Elves are looking a bit thin. Wild Hunters of Kurnos get a good charge in, but Massacre cause terror and more damage, and then the Wild Hunters are just going to charge straight into the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw, but they have to be careful. They can't afford to get pinched in here from multiple sides. They will want to be careful. Their Kalichar is biggest and best asset left on the entire map. I do wonder for Kalichar, if like Sundering the armor of the Slaughtermaster would be good or not. I guess he only has 40s. It's not even worth it. He's just really focusing on pushing down this Stonehorn. Another Dwellers Below comes out. It looks like it is going to hit the Noblars and the Ogre Bulls. Should take both of them out. The Wild Hunters of Kurnos do manage to slip and slide straight through this Ogre formation, doing a lot better than I thought they would have done there. I thought they were pretty screwed. They are going to get out just fine. Rampaging Sabertusks are awful close to the Glade Guard, but does their Rampage let them actually attack it? It does not look like it. The Infinite Rampage strikes again, and Kalichar is like, keep calm and fire on, boys. And they will. But the Wood Elves are officially behind on the balance of power for the first time this whole game. Snowhorn is almost heal capped. And it's taking a lot more damage. But, I mean, it is a big, scary single entity. Don't get me wrong. It is big. It is ominous. But it's not the Lord. If you snipe it out, it's not like the rest of these low health ogres are all of a sudden going to break. It's all about the Slaughtermaster. Can they get him? Now, the Sisters are no slouches in melee combat, and a good charge on the side of these Ogre Bulls that were already faltering does send them into the winds. Wild Hunters of Kurnos are going to chase off the Snowhorn. And I think HR is probably going to clutch it out here. These Sabertusks still rampaging are just hurting the Wood Elves. I mean, hurting the Ogres so much because they didn't go attack those Glade Guard or anything like that. They're just running around in circles now at this point, honestly. And it's really infuriating. Poor Ogres. Meanwhile, these Ogre Bulls should be able to push off the Glade Guard, and they do. It's up to the Slaughtermaster. Can he beat the Sisters of Twilight in melee with some Ogre Bull support? The Ogre Bulls have taken care of these Glade Guards, stop them from firing. The Sisters are going to cycle charge out, so they're going to get out of here. Snowhorn is dead. Snowhorn is dead. Noblars trying to fight Eternal Guard is not going to go well for them at all, and we do have some Ogre Bulls back, and this freaking Sabertusk pack is still just running around after one Eternal Guard. Oh, and it keeps knocking him over and not even doing damage. God, that sucks for the Ogres. Then we have a Dwellers Below. Honestly, a very ambitious cast of Dwellers Below here. It's going to do more damage to the Wood Elves than it will to the Ogres, even with its reduced friendly fire. Routing off these Eternal Guard, routing off the Ogre Bulls, and even the Glade Guard, though that one isn't Dwellers Below fault. Wood Elves take a massive lead on the balance of power, and this Sabertusk pack just completely fucked everything up for the Ogres by infinitely rampaging the whole game. Slaughtermaster is running. Army losses is danger close, and the Ogres go for one last-ditch attempt to keep the balance of power at bay. If they could get the caster, they could stay in this game, but that's just army losses-wise. Actual state of the game, I think they're completely doomed, especially with the Sabertusk pack just infinitely rampaging in place. Rest in peace. Wild Hunters Kurnos. Oh, the Slaughtermaster rallies in the middle of him, and he throws out an Iron Fist if he could delete this entire elite unit. Bam! And he's back! And he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Do these freaking Sabertusk stop rampaging? No. And how are the Wild Hunters and Kurnos still fighting? What is this? All right, they finally go away, but the Slaughtermaster is going to get charged by the Sisters of Twilight, and he has no support. But the Sabertusks are back. They're done rampaging. They're coming. But are they coming even remotely close to fast enough? The Slaughtermaster's hanging on. The Ogres get a rear charge with these Ogre Bulls. Just hang in there, Slaughtermaster. Just hang in there. He pops extra ingredients. Just get a little bit more. And the Sisters are doing so much damage to him, but the Sabertusks are coming. The Sabertusks are running in. The Sisters get some help from a Spellsinger of Life in the back. That is going to rout the Slaughtermaster. He's going to shatter him and cause army losses to hit. And that is a good game one. That is a good game one to start with. How about every time other than VC win, hubby has a piece of cake? All right. There we go. There we go. Sisters of Twilight, 2,200 value, 1,300 on the Lifecaster, 1,600 on the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. The Glade, wow, the Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts, just so much value. Holy crap. Unfortunately, the Glade Artist of Spears just had to protect their archers. They had to sacrifice themselves for the cause, and the Eternal Guard of Spears did excellently. Sabertusk are waiting for the Lord to prove himself. Yeah. Slaughtermaster the Great Maw did fine. He got a lot of healing off. The Hunter getting gooned right away was really brutal. The Snowhorn did awesome. Considering, all right, like it didn't get a lot of value, but it was a huge distraction piece. It surrounded a lot of stuff, got a bunch of damage off the caster, so it's fine. Ogre Bull frontline, really mixed, but overall good. Overall good, but it varied a lot. And Sabertusk packs got good value, but that infinite rampage bug hurts them so much. So much. This unit had 920 value. Imagine if he had been able to use it before the very end of the game. It's brutal. It's brutal. Well played, Mr. FB. Well played indeed. Well, that was a game. That was a way to start the day off. All right. All right. Strat Game and Black Knight are ready, so I'll message them. Congrats to Big JP for qualifying. Big J, I see the joke there, Rocket. I see the joke, but Big JP is the only Beastman in today's thing. But if you look at the screen blocker, sorry, I'm taking you back and forth a lot. If you see the screen blocker, Beastmen have been played by Razel, so Big JP to qualify would have to get to the top 8, right? Top 8, no matter what, fill the black question mark box column. That's top 8 for tonight. And then I go back through tonight, and if you didn't get top 8, if you're playing a faction that one of these question marks hasn't been filled, I'll put you in there. So, like, for example, I know that's really confusing. I'm just trying to fill the slots, man, in a time of low participation. So, for example, right, AC Maiden and Kali Char are both playing Wood Elves. I have no Wood Elf representative. But if Kali Char wins his next game and he gets to... He is in top 8. Oh, I see what Rocket did there. Rocket's a genius. So tonight's tournament is small. Big JP started in the top 8, so Big JP does qualify. So AC Maiden also qualifies because Kali Char won. If Kali Char had lost, then those two would have to fight to see who the Wood Elf rep is. But Kali Char is one of the black question mark boxes, and AC Maiden is the only other Wood Elf left. Oh, Rocket's smarter than me. I am the stupid. And I do enjoy being the stupid. I am big dumb. All right. God, I hate being dumb all the time. John FB, that was a great game, dude. Yeah, Rocket, you win. You win. You gave me Blood Penguin, then Platypus, tough crowd. I hit shuffle. I made sure the matchups, I made sure the faction matchups weren't bad right away. I didn't do any factoring of players because that's called bias, all right? Oh, shit. I just joined Strat's game. Why does it instantly say joining game rather than giving me the option to do stuff? All right, we're trying to figure out Strat's code right now. All right, we're trying to find a game right now. I do want to spectate this one. Strat game and Black Knight will be fun because I don't get to see them on stream a lot. They're both pretty late night gamers, and they don't make a ton of tournaments. So I just think it'd be fun to get them on stream. And Strat's a big supporter of the channel. He was supporting us a lot, gave a lot of donations around the pre-Immortal Empires times when land battles sucked. So you gave Bretonia VP in the first round early, and you say you made the matchups close to even. I tried. I did my best. Black Knight's gonna host? Okay. Call HR, oh man, I'm Rusty. You're not Rusty, you're Call HR. Rusty is a different RTK member, all right? You can't do this, HR. Your clan already has Platypus and Platypus. Your clan already has Bob Man and Bob Tresh. You have Jay Phoenix, well, there's a Phoenix King and there's a Phoenix something else, and there's Phoenixes all over the place. You can't be Rusty. You're Call HR. Rusty's a different person who's also in RTK. You can't take this from him, all right? I'm putting my foot down. We're done. We are done with RTK stealing each other's names. You're all unique. You're all beautiful, except for Bob Tresh. Though I have not seen that guy around in forever. I haven't even seen him doing Dom stuff. I think he lost himself to D&D or school. What happens to factions that were never played in either qualifier? I'll figure that out, Bird. I got some schemes. I got some plans. Your college HR, yeah. It's good to see you, man. Have you tried your hand at any of the Warhammer World Championship stuff? Or not really? There's JP and Jay Phoenix. Yeah, there it is. There it is, Butcher Bird. I want to try my hand at the WWC stuff when I'm not... because when I'm hosting it, I can't try. They told me I can't. They just haven't been at great times for me, unfortunately. Like, I had other stuff going on. But I'm hoping I can at least try one or two in my own time. You can invite me for greenskins. That's right. You did beat me with greenskins a lot back in the day. You with your damn squig rushes before squigs were even good. Zyphos and Zyphose. Doom Sage, what are you doing? Gonna give me a stroke. It's Zyphos and Zypher. Ah, okay. You're talking about ODM. Wait, aren't we top 8 already? You are top 8 already, Black Knight, because it was a small tournament. But you haven't really played Dom? If you haven't played Dom, then where have you been, Call HR? You just been on vacation? Taking some mental rest? We missed you in the pre-Immortal Empires times where it was Nurgle Blobs versus Corn Blobs versus Kislev Blobs. I heard you liked Blobs. Oh, God. Pre-Immortal Empires was pretty rough. Most matchups, anyhow. Yeah, the Squig Hopper rushes. I remember that. So we have Black Knight, frequent lurker in the chat, frequent shit talker. Big boaster. Big ego on this one. Not a friendly individual. God, we hate Black Knight. We just hate him. Every time he's lurking around, I just want to end the stream. You've been LARPing? That's fair. Oh, hey, Black Knight's in chat. Oh, hey, man. Oh, it's so good to see you. No. I did not know him in the before times, but I have been assured by many of his friends that he was a big Imric enjoyer before Imric actually got good. So now he's just been living his best life, as Imric is the meta now. That's fun. And I've heard he's a pretty good high elf player from El Coops. As for Strat Game is known in the late night community for his very extreme builds. He tends to kind of subscribe to that ideology of like, if you're going to lose a matchup fairly, then don't play it fairly and go like, I don't want to say coin flip because that sounds too cheesy, but like, all cavalry is this build, and if you're not ready for it, I win, and if you are ready for it, then I lose, but it was a bad matchup anyway, so why would I play it? That kind of thing. But this is an oddly standard build for him. So do we have the Lamprey's Revenge? We have 4 animated Hulks. We do have triple Depth Guard, all of which have the dual axe variant. And we have some pole arms, 5 pistol mobs in the front, none of which are the handgun variant. We have a couple scurvy dogs, and we do have a pistol captain Admiral. Sorry, Admiral. With the summon and the heal. And Black Periapt. The Black Pair. It's very true. I played a bunch quick playing too. He's always brought him. Yeah. All right. On the other side, for Black, we have Illyrian Reavers. Okay, that's interesting. We have Illyrian Reavers, Spearmen, Archers, War Lions of Krace, a Mage of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood, all of the resources for Imric. There's no Dwellers below to punish any blobs. Then we have 1 Dragon Prince and triple Illyrian Reaver Archer. What else feel really bad now? They do feel really bad now. The Kali Char made him look pretty good. So, if you are out there and you are paying attention to the rules and or you are learning how to play land battles, Black Knight is definitely too close to the white line. I have no in-game chat, so there's no way for me to let them know, and I already heard somebody hit the ready button. I mean, obviously now they're moving, but when I noticed it, it was already too late. We'll see how the game goes. If the Vampire Coast win, it didn't matter. If the Vampire Coast win, and I talked to Stracky about it, and he says it's fine, it doesn't matter. There's no money for this tournament. Both players have already qualified for the faction war. I'm hoping it's not a big deal. But yes, I see that the High Elves are corner camping, and that we'll get there. Change to large, and I bet they'd feel better. Yeah, I've wanted to go to large, but we'll hold another community vote for Season 3. We're going to ELO in Season 3, and I need to also hold a community vote about what pick and ban we're going to use. I know Dwellers cost a lot, but how do you not bring it? Black Knight loves Imric. He loves Imric, and he just wants to keep him alive. So, the Bolt Throwers for the High Elves will keep the Vampire Coast a little bit honest as they start to advance. Meaning the High Elves can hold their position on the hill. I think what he wanted was the hill, and the hill happened to be near a corner, and I don't think he was really paying attention to that. Because Black Knight plays a crap ton of quick battles. He doesn't usually hang out in tournaments, so it's not like he's super up to date on like all the rules about corner camping and stuff. We can see he's moving out of the corner a little bit. That's fine. Like, I know I was memeing earlier that I know Black Knight's a good enough person to not like be a cheese lord, so he's fine. Word answers got worse. Dies on the inside. Yeah, dude, you've been standing for the word answers forever, and they will never be good, my friend. Wood Elves are now starting to... Sorry. High Elves are starting to shoot at the pistol mobs. People have been telling me that these pistol mobs are OP. We saw Hanadins take them in one of the Warhammer World Championship qualifiers, just like spammed the shit out of pistol mobs. I don't know why they are considered so strong, and I have yet to see them do very much, but maybe it's just that they're 300 gold, so they don't have to do a lot to pay for themselves. I don't know. I will have to like sit down with someone at some point and figure out why these are so Good. Simple solution, don't give the community an option. You don't have to go to graphics settings to change anymore. It's not that hard to change it back for other tourneys. I don't know. I tend to do community polls for stuff, so like the most people are like, I don't know. The most people are getting what they want out of our gaming experience. So, the archers punishing the pistol mobs really heavily. Animated hulks, however, have not been punished on their way in, and neither have the depth guards. That is kind of, it's a rush build, so that's what you get. You can only shoot so many things at the same time. Illyrian Reaver's getting worked on by pistols and depth guard and animated hulks. Not having a great time, and Black Knight is trying to retreat with his archers, but his front line is so heavily committed, as it has to be. There just wasn't a lot of it. It's so heavily committed that where is he going to run to? Like, what's he going to do? Also, there's a War Lion. I kind of forget that that was there. Okay. Anyway, Depth Guard have chewed through their first line of spearmen. They are already onto the archers. The Mage of Life is running up, but what she's going to do, she doesn't have dwellers below. And Illyrian Reavers are now taking a charge, along with some Dragon Princes, onto this big pocket of Vampire Coast chicanery. Imric tried to get a snipe off onto the Vampire Fleet Captain Admiral? Yeah, that lady. He tried to snipe that lady. It did not work out. He is now stuck in tiny, tiny crabs, meaning his gigantic body is above the crabs, and everyone can see him and everyone can shoot him. Imric is taking a lot of damage. Imric is trying to leave. He can't, but he's trying to. Oh boy, he's having a bad time. He Lord of Dragons the Scurvy Dogs and not the Lamprey's Revenge. I think that was a misclick in the big blob. Meanwhile, the Vampire Coast is completely demolishing all of the High Elf lines, and they are onto the ranged units. There is just nothing left. The War Lions existed when we looked over here, and they do not anymore. Black Knight is pretty much down to just his cavalry, and that is not going to be enough. As another pistol summon, there are 2 pistol summons and 1 regular pistol unit here, are all just Gatling gunning down Imric. He even has an overcast regrowth on him, and he's just barely keeping even. He's not even gaining health. He's just keeping even as he gets shot and bullied by all these things. I think it is going to be a quick Vampire Coast victory. I just don't see how the High Elves can fight their way out of this one. They're in way too bad of a spot. Animated Hulk's even going to join the circle beating that is happening to Imric. Now, they will actually get in these pistol mobs' way. You can see they're obstructed now, but still, it's just about keeping him on the ground. It's just about keep beating him up. And he takes a giant chunk of damage, and he is going to rout. Oh. Oh. I don't understand this army. It's a Black Knight army. He does what he wants. Never compromises. Never surrenders. Dragon Prince is getting a nice, nasty charge onto the animated hulks, but I do think that's a drop in the bucket. That is not going to matter. As Imric's on his way off the field, you can see the edge of the maps right there, so they could walk him up if they wanted to, but it looks like they're actually just going to naturally kill this guy. Invocation to Heck, trying to keep the dogs alive. That's kind of funny from Strat Game. Trying to keep these super dead dogs alive so they could chase Imric around. Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say. Double the damage value from the Vampire Coast to the High Elves. Oof. I think Silver Guard would have been much better. The Illyrian Reavers and Spearmen just melted. I know Illyrian Reaver archers got buffs, and Black Knight loves them. But yeah, I don't think they have that much of a home in this matchup. Reaver archers are bad here, yeah. What else needed a nerf? They needed a nerf, but what they got was a gutting and left in the alley to dry. It was brutal. Like, and it wasn't as much they got nerfed as everyone else left them behind, right? I didn't see that many nerfs towards Wood Elves. They just didn't get anything. And then the changes to how missile units worked and the change to ultra size just messed with them a lot. They didn't have a good time. Lamprey's Revenge and the Depth Guard carried this game, it looks like. They did very well. Let's find the gunner mob that was shooting Imric. Alright, I'm guessing it's the 550 one. Like, it was Reavers to kite against undead PP faction bolt throwers to defend Imric to kill what? I don't know. You'd have to ask Dr. Black Knight Esquire. Alright, I see a lobby called Big JP. I wonder if he's played already. JP, if you're still out in the chat, let me spectate. Call HR is also just getting a game together. So we have a backup. Okay. But we're going to watch Central Scroot and Big JP because they haven't been on the stream yet, rather than watch Call HR slaughter another person. Though he is versus Incarnation, who has been a real menace. That dude's been... Love him or hate him, like, there are people that don't like Incarnation for various reasons, but he has been grinding his ass off and he's been getting a lot better. I don't think anyone can disagree about that. I don't know. He has a personality and playstyle that can come off as rather abrasive. To me, he's always been, like, nice. But he's just very blunt about how he says things. And I hate his playstyle. That one I'll admit, but that's not, like... That's not that big of a deal. I hate Void Laws' playstyle, right? I technically hate the Phoenix King's playstyle. Doesn't mean I hate the Phoenix King. I like that guy. He's fun. But gotta hate getting kited. So Incarnation's playstyle is like... It's a little all over the place. He does what he needs to for each matchup, but he has this particular build that I just really hate playing against. It's Lizardman Kite, but it's like 2 Stegodons, an Ancient Salamander, and a Life Salon. And we legitimately had a 30-minute game. And I was like, that was the worst experience of my life. I am not going to play this anymore. What elves weren't OP in your opinion? They're just a playstyle allowed to be toxic if you wanted to be. All right. Beastmen and Ogre Kingdoms. I have found this matchup is actually even and or a little bit Beastmen favored, but both sides have something they can do in it. Now it's a 1 Stegodon, 2 Ancient Sallies, into Tomb Kings at least. Yeah. You also dislike me as a person, so there's a difference there. Yeah. I just hate Butcherbird. It's true. I just hate Bird. That's why he's in my admin chat. And why he's a mod on my YouTube channel. Because I just hate him. We've had our disagreements, sure. Definitely have, but I have my disagreements with a lot of people. Every faction had a toxic way of playing. I mean, did they? So, Beastmen and Ogres, why I think this matchup can be even. The Beastmen can spam pointy sticks, like most factions can spam pointy sticks against Ogres, but Beastmen infantry are so garbage stats-wise that Ogres can usually actually get through their front line decently okay. So then, like, just spam pointy sticks to win isn't normally the whole strategy. So then it comes into, like, well, do the Beastmen have Centaurs or throwing axes? Can they keep them safe? Do they have basic Centaurs? Do they have Minotaurs or great weapons? So there's a lot of ways they can kind of deal with it. They can have Harpies up in the sky to rear charge some stuff and get some things going. Do you go with Torox for his dueling potential, but he doesn't have anti-large? You could try to go with, like, Malagor in the sky. Ogres don't really like Chaos Spawn, so Morgar's decent. So, like, Beastmen have a lot of ways to play this matchup, and that's what makes that fun. For the Ogres, you can honestly go with an Ogre Bull Rush, like, I don't want to say standard, but, you know, just a bunch of Ogre Bulls. And that's a decent way to play this matchup. Crushers are super risky, because if there's an enemy who has a throwing axe or two, those are dead Crushers, completely dead. But if your opponent doesn't bring any throwing axes, Crushers can dominate this matchup. I really wouldn't go that way because I think it's super risky, but you could. Stonehorns could be hard to stop because they have just infinite mass, so they can pull through a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think. Iron Blast or Kite could be interesting because Beastmen lack any real ranged threat. So they would have to rush you if you have an Iron Blaster and you're kiting them. And then it's like, maybe if you pair the Iron Blaster with some Crushers. So it's like the Iron Blaster can shoot at the Centaurs with throwing axes if the throwing axes run up, and if anything besides the throwing axes run up, the Crushers can just dominate that matchup. I don't know. It's a good matchup. 2 fast-paced factions with low leadership. It can be a banger. Probably have more disagreements than most people and more extreme ones. See your old January Wood Elf Skaven stream. Hell yeah, dude. That was a good rant, though. was a good rant. And Bird, if I actually didn't like you, I definitely wouldn't let you be an admin on my freaking Discord. You damn jokester. So ogres have a chance of breaking through before they rout due to their leadership. Yeah, and if the Beastmen rout, the ogres can chase them and charge up their army passive, which is an entire mechanic the Beastmen just don't have. They don't have army passives. So that's like another big ogre thing. If I remember, it was mainly Torox being a raid boss for ages. The Chariots being broken as hell. Yeah, but Chariots being broken as hell versus ogres doesn't matter. Ogres don't give a single shit about Chariots. The only thing Chariots are good against are their Noblars, which they already gave up on. Let the Wa begin. Let the Wa begin indeed. Good times. Bird, are you still remotely associated with Ito or not really? Did Ito die out? We're in. JP went with the Great Bray Shaman of Death. We have 2 Gorbles. Haven't seen them in a very long time. That game saying something about how you're going crazy. That was a great rant. It was a great rant. I loved that rant. So, 2 Gorbles. Then a Bray Shaman of Death, a Great Bray Shaman of Death, with Doom and Darkness for the leadership debuff and Spirit Leech from Big JP. We have triple Razor Gore Herds, cheap armor-piercing large dogs. But I wonder how effective the armor piercing is going to be against the ogres. We'll have to see. Other than that, we have a Minobus, 2 Minotaurs with great weapons, which gives them anti-large. Butchers Calvin Guard for their higher stats and their regen. 3 Ungor Raiders, and 5 Ungor Spearman Herds with shields. I'm in the Discord, but there's maybe a message a month in it. Sounds like my Discord. Is Incarnation in here? He's not in here now. I like the rant where I got timeout. Which one? Yeah. Loopy, you're not the only person that's happened to. I sometimes have to time people out if I'm getting too salty and I just need to like chill out for a second. And I try to make it very clear that that's what's happening and not like, this person's being punished. It's like, I just need a second to breathe. Do Gorbles get tossed around by anything stronger than a stiff art? Not really. No, they're generally fine. Good pew pew. Not many factions tick those boxes. True. You're definitely the most active player in Idaho. Anyway, the Ogre build. It's a bunch of Ogre Bulls, some Ogre Bulls with dual weapons, some Ogre Bulls with dual weapons in the back. We have double Lead Belcher, 1 Powder Gut. So it's the Man-Eater Pistols ROR. We have Noblars, 2 Noblar Trappers. We do have a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw for Central Scroop with just Troll Guts. And then we have a basic Stonehorn, no Hunter, and no range tech at all. Timing out people when you're salty is pretty healthy practice. Yeah. Because I try to keep up with chat, so I'm going to see the comments. And then I like, it's just a personality failing that I have, that I tunnel really deep, and like, I can't just ignore something, you know? And if it's like, if it's hurting the quality of the stream, then I just need to like cool down, time that person out just so I stop engaging with it. Like, it's just better for everybody if I stop. Gorbles are missing their old potions. Did they have healing potions or something? I don't remember what their potions were. Hello, friends and foes. What up, Knighthood? You just missed High Elves getting knocked to the ground. Haven't Wargors basically replaced Gorbles? Gorbles have a niche because they're anti-large. But, alright, I'm going to take a break from chat. I got to do this now that we are all set up. Lead Belchers are going to start firing into Minotaurs. I don't know how Lead Belchers do versus large targets like that. I honestly haven't tested it too much. They do okay versus infantry at close ranges. We'll see how they do versus monstrous infantry. It looks like they're doing all right. Stonehorn is going to charge forward, a nice source of terror and, like, infinite mass. And, man, those Minotaurs are not having a good time. These Lead Belchers are actually doing really good work. But the Doom and Darkness has been cast, just sending this front line into complete disarray, and the Minotaurs are going to push straight through there. That could cause a problem for the backline. I'm so curious how the Powder Guts are going to do versus Minotaurs, because they do get a shit ton of melee stats if they're losing in combat. That'll be quite interesting to track as this game goes on. Beastmen front line is pushing through. It looks like in multiple spots, mostly due to the Mino bust, but the Ogres are getting their vengeance back through these Lead Belchers, just tearing apart one of the Minotaurs. So it looks like a third of the Minotaurs on the whole field are already taken down. Ogre Raiders are pushing forward. They can get their shots off into these unshielded Ogre Bulls and do a lot of damage, but it looks like they're actually focusing down the Powder Guts rather than fighting them in melee, which is fair. Central Scrutinizer is up heavily in damage value, as we saw in the College R game earlier, where the Wood Elves did the same thing, but can they hold as this front line is falling apart, and already the Powder Guts are having to move over and protect the Lead Belchers by running into melee. A Troll Guts is cast on them as they move forward. The Brazier Herds are in the back line, throwing their armor piercing down onto Ogres, who honestly don't have that much of it, but it's still welcome, I guess, as Ogre Bulls are trying to save the Lead Belchers. Now here's the problem, is where the hell are the Lead Belchers going to go? They have nowhere to run to, as more Razor Gores pile in from the back. It looks like Noblars and Ogres were able to win the front line, so at least they can come back and help out there. The Powder Guts run off to the side. It looks like they need to find a home. It looks like they need to find a friend and do something. Now the Hero Corps and the Butchers of Kalkengard are pushing through the middle, still just clubbing apart any Ogres that get in their way. They're trying to get back to these Lead Belchers, but just more and more Ogre bodies get thrown into the meat grinder. They're like, fine, you too, kill another one. All right, oh, another one, fine, you too, and kill another one. But they just can't get these Lead Belchers, and that could be a problem if the Lead Belchers are ever able to sit and shoot at the Butchers of Kalkengard. We saw what happened to the other Minotaurs that have shared that fate. One here is extremely low and it is getting pushed off. The other one over there is at half HP. So Butchers and Razor Gore Herds are getting held in place for a moment. Can the Lead Belchers actually get a shot off or not? Another problem for the Ogres, they just see problems everywhere, is all three of these Ogre Raiders are still full HP, and they're within range of the ranged units. The Powder Guts hate getting shot at. 40 armor, no shields, they're tall targets, and all of their buffs come in for melee stats. But a Butcher is thrown onto the Stonehorn. The Stonehorn's going to do what Stonehorns have done since day one of Warhammer 3. They are going to sprint through a bunch of archers, stopping them from firing. They don't do that much damage, but they do stop them from firing. Lead Belcher got a second to shoot at the Minotaurs and the Butchers of Kalkengard and the Razor Gore Herds, just kind of collateral damage, everything over there, and the Powder Guts are moving to defend them. Both Lead Belchers for Central Scrutinizer have been kept online. They are damaged, but they are online. Ogre Raiders getting pushed off for Big JP, and we have ourselves a scrap. As the blob fight has occurred, there's 2 Gorbulls and a crap ton of Minotaurs. This Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw is going to have a terrible time, and a very nice Doom and Darkness cast from Big JP. Lowers all their leadership. The terror routes start coming in, the natural routes start coming in, and now there's nothing keeping these Minotaurs away from the Lord. There's nothing keeping the Minotaurs away from the ranged units. They just need to spread out, and it looks like for now they are still staying in a bit of a clump, still getting a shot from all sides by all this armor-piercing stuff. They need to spread out a little bit. Ogres are still a little bit behind on the balance of power, but it's not a lot, as one of the Gorbulls is chasing down the Slaughtermaster, and there the Minotaurs start to get onto the ranged units. Razor Gores even plow into the Lead Belchers, and now Scroot is in trouble. Things he does have going for him is we have a rallying of the Ogres, and that has put the Archers under supreme threat. 2 of them were pushed off once already. 1 of them is currently being fought with Ogres, and we do have a really healthy Stonehorn running through the lines. Also, we have the Powder Guts fighting 2 different groups of Minotaurs, but you can see their melee stats are quite good whenever they're losing in melee, which right now they're winning slightly. So they'll need to start losing so they can get melee buffs, which will help them win. Or something. I don't know. One Lead Belcher still trying to run away from the piggies, taking a little bit of damage. The other Lead Belcher also running away. But Ogre Raiders are back. Ogre Raiders are helping once again. There it is, 74-76 melee stats on the Powder Guts whenever they are losing. A Spirit Leech keeps the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw running, and does it kill him? 10 health, and he gets off the map. Getting off the map is huge, because if he died, they would take a much bigger leadership spike, but I don't know if it's going to matter, as the balance of power keeps going against Scroot. Even though the damage value is very similar, Beastmen are just too powerful. The Powder Guts are pushed off. There's 1 Lead Belcher left, and that's pretty much it for the whole map. It's Lead Belcher and a Stonehorn versus the world. And there is a full health Gorbull running around. I think army loss is going to come soon, as the Butchers of Kalkengard are caught up on the Powder Guts right now. But as soon as they get free, they are going to sprint down those Lead Belchers. And that'll be that, and Big JP will advance. I lost to Kislev with Platy. Came down to 1 Tomb Guard versus a Little Ground and a Tempest Caster. Damn close game. That's a good one. Someone on Lander taught me how badly Ogre Kingdoms counters Nurgle. Was it a bunch of Lead Belchers, or what happened to you, bud? Back in first game, I think they had a Potion of Toughness. Wow. Yeah, that would be pretty damn strong. And that'll be it. Big JP will advance. I love Scroot. Scroot's a good guy. I am kind of glad JP didn't just get a bye round into the top 8 and then gets into the faction without winning a single game. At least he had to win a game. And Scroot made it too. So that's fine. Gorbals did all right. Minotaurs did very well. Razor Gores did a lot better than I thought they would have. I thought their arm piercing was going to be wasted. Ungor Raiders did great. If you're ever playing Beastmen, a couple of these guys will go a long way in almost any matchup at all. As for Scroot, I liked his basic Stonehorn. His ranged units, he kept him very, very alive. He did great there. The Ogre Bull front line did all right as well, and then Obelisk fell apart. I think the build was solid. I think the play was good. It was just tough. I guess it's like, I don't know about Lead Belchers in general in this matchup, but they did clearly good work onto those Minotaurs at first. I don't know, maybe cut them? I don't know. It was a good one, though. Oh, righty. Where are we at? Big JP versus Strat game. Beastmen versus Vampire Coast. This is a really tough one for the Beastmen. It didn't used to be, and the Coast got a bunch of buffs, and the Beastmen got minor nerfs, but still nerfs. That is going to be a tough time for Big JP. But we'll hop in there and we'll spectate it while Incarnation and College are figure their stuff out. But here's this. All right, everybody. Conspiracy theory. Oh, this is Black Knight just chilling. All right. Conspiracy theory. If Big JP, he gets here, right? RTK Platypus is already here. If College R beats Incarnation, we'll have a triple RTK semifinals. And then if Big JP beats Strat Game, then it doesn't matter. Then we have an RTK finals. And I think they rigged it. I think they rigged it. Hard matchup for Ogres, I think. Looked a little tough. Lead Belchers, I'm scared. They have failed me a lot of times. Someone, I honestly forget who, someone told me about triple gold chevroning them and then they get very accurate, which is true, but then they also cost a lot more and I find they run out of ammo for paying for themselves. They miss a lot is the biggest problem because you had those Minotaurs dead to rights in front of them, and they did good damage with the first one, but the second one where the Butchers and the other Minotaurs were all in a blob and you were firing at them and it did minimal damage. It's like, okay, that like you had to work so hard to get that situation that you should be rewarded for it, but Lead Belchers in their current state just like miss a lot, so then you don't get rewarded for what you did. Is how I feel about it anyway. You gotta have a way to deal with throwing axes? That's what you brought them for. Yeah. Hi, son of Kieran. Vermin League is an ODM pyramid scheme? Is it? Is it? Dude, like, Bird, if you want to throw out pyramid schemes, Vermin League's probably a VM pyramid scheme. VM have dominated my Vermin League. The tournaments and the league itself. Well, the latter's probably a raced pyramid scheme. I like how the Phoenix King is XMT and he's like trying to solo carry XMT through the dark times. Because he's the only active XMT player I've seen, but he has the most points on Vermin League. Because he just participated in every tournament and he did really well. Strat Game's right behind him, though. Vermin League with VM capitalized. Yeah, VM played a lot. Void dominating tourneys is a meaningless statement? Yeah. But Thunderwolf is also quite good. Berserk's quite good. Those guys have been playing. Raflan Boldiga and I have personal issues, which is why I don't really like him hanging around, but he's a good player. So, VM has a bunch of scary guys right now. Crabling's still hanging out, though he mostly does Dom now. Mofet's not VM, but he's also doing very, very well. He hangs around a lot of those guys. Void was ODM about 4 years ago. I genuinely enjoy a 4-hour session against Void because I'm a masochist. Yeah, he's a nice guy from what I've interacted with. Our last 2 games have been Skaven versus Vampire Counts, and both games were, I don't want to say close as in like a nail biter, but close as in it wasn't a blowout. Like it came up until the last minute, and then about the last minute you're like, okay, yeah, this, you know, Void's got this, but it wasn't a blowout from the very first seconds. That's fine. Thunderwolf and Berserk got to quarterfinals of that Russian tourney too. Yeah. Thunderwolf had a super close game against Anticity on stream in the Tournament About Dragons thing we were hosting with McGrayface. That was a good game. Anticity was doing some memery where he was taking builds from chat, but his build was like 90% competitive, and it was a super close game, and he played well, so can't really fault him for that. Killer Lion, it's been a while, dude. How you doing? It's going well. It's going well. We're just having a grand old time. The semifinals are set. We have Beastmen versus Vampire Coast in front of us right now. And on the other side, we have Kislev and Lizardmen. Beastmen, Vampire Coast, Kislev, and Lizardmen. Very different turnout than we had during the European tournament, though I think we did put our thumb on the scale when we revealed what factions hadn't been claimed yet. All RTK final, I feel it. It's Call HR, that is an uphill battle. Incarnation is not a player you fuck around with. He's quite good. And Strat Game is also very, very good. So I would say RTK is probably the underdogs in both matchups. Probably. I've never seen Anticity do something for fun. Not usually. All right, both builds need to resettle, but I think the coast is mostly in line where I can see them. For Strat Game, we have 4 animated Hulks, 2 dogs. It's literally the exact same build. That's funny. He switched out a couple things. Okay. 4 animated Hulks, 2 dogs, Lamprey's Revenge, Pistol Caster Vampires with Black Parapet and Invocation Deck and the Summon. Then he has 4 pistol mobs instead of 5. Now is where we get to a whole bunch of Pokey Sticks. It looks like triple Depth Guard with Pole Arm. Triple Depth Guard with Pole Arm instead of the Dual Axe variant. And then a bunch of zombie mobs with pole arms. That's pretty heavy anti-Minotaur stuff. Are we trying to fuck around with their incarnation? I meant you don't take him lightly, bird. Great Bright Shaman of Death on the other side. For Big JP, we have Spirit Leech, Fate of Buna, and Aspect of the Dread Knight. Aspect of the Dread Knight helps with Sirens. Fate of Buna helps with Depth Guard. We have double Wargore, both on Chariots. There's the Wargores we were talking about earlier. We'll see if they perform as well as the Gorbulls did. Triple Minotaurs with great weapons, a front line of Blackhorns, Ravagers, and the Destroyers of Drakwold, plus a whole bunch of Ungor Spearmen. Triple Archer once again, and double Harpy. A really nice Beastman build. I like it. I like both these builds a lot. Favor-wise, I would probably go towards the Vampire Coast just because in general they are a stronger faction right now than the Beastmen, but I think these builds are both very competitive. Yeah, I like them. I think a large part of it is how well the Wargores are, one, handled, like, don't sit in a fight for too long, cycle charge a lot, but also how much damage they do. Because if these guys charge straight into a clump of zombies and do 0 damage, then Big JP is completely out of this game. Like, there's nothing he can do. But if these guys actually do solid damage, then yeah, he has a way to win this game. Will the Depth Guard ever be able to catch anything? Find out in the next episode of Nope, Nope. I mean, you do have to come to them at some points. Pistols start firing at the Minotaurs with great weapons with only 35 armor and no shields. They don't enjoy that whatsoever. And the Beastmen Chariot Clump does about a quarter of the damage off that pistol mob as it pushes through. They just have to be careful to not get caught in the Lamprey's Revenge. The Lamprey's Revenge took out Imric straight up, so if they want to avoid that. Minotaurs with great weapons are veering off course to go fight animated hulks with their anti-large. They would rather do that than fight halberd infantry. And the front lines have entirely collided. Now these Minotaurs with great weapons are getting completely destroyed by the depth guard. Oh my god, they're already dead. All right, these other ones are also stuck fighting pole arms and Lamprey's Revenge. They are not having a good time whatsoever. The last Minotaur is clubbing the shit out of animated hulk, so he's the only one having a good time in any sense. Where is that? What the hell? A Fate of Buna on a zombie polearm. Ooh, that is a mistake. I think Big JP thought they were a depth guard. That is very, very unfortunate for him. That is an expensive spell on a 400 gold chaff unit. Now, the Harpies over here do need to be tasked to come back, and it looks like they are getting orders that way now. The other Harpies are supporting the Minotaurs in their task. And Big JP is having an honorable attempt on that far side, but that Fate of Buna plus already losing 2 of his Minotaurs is really, really going to hurt him. I think he's in a tough spot for this game. What's up with this Wargore stuff? Hey, Clone Bro. Not much. I think he was just trying to clear out like infinite amounts of depth guard. That was a brutal Fate of Buna cast. It still hurts. Because they have the same icon, is how that happens. Like, if you look across the front line, all these guys have the same icon. God damn, though. These Harpies do need to get active. They need to find a home and stick to it. They need to do something. Meanwhile, we have Ungor Raiders firing at Lamprey's Revenge. Looks like they're just trying to whittle them down. The other 2 are healthy. They just need to find a home. And probably shoot at either Depth Guard or Animated Hulks or something. I don't exactly know what they're going to do. Beastmen are falling a little bit behind on the balance of power. Hanging in better on the balance of power than I would have thought, honestly. But, like, the Depth Guard are pretty healthy at this point. Considering how much regen they have and Invocation and Hex. All 3 of them are chilling. I'm very worried. Would the Depth Guard be able to catch anything? Oh, dude, Sage already read that. Whoops. Yes. Clearly, yes. So the Wargores and the Great Bray Shaman are trying to finish off dogs and deckhand mobs and all this crap, but they're having a hard time of it. Ungor Raiders are running away infinitely, but where can they go? And the last of the Minotaurs is broken. And we do have more Minotaurs that rallied in the back, but with only 600 HP, they're about to rout. And these other ones rallied, but with only 2,000 HP, they'll probably rout. That seems fine. Okay, I have a bunch of messages, but none of them are like, stop this game right now for this reason, so it's fine. Harpies are throwing themselves to the wind just to try and get these Depth Guard polearms off of the Raiders and get the Raiders back to firing. These other Harpies are just looming in the sky, but where did the Triple Chariots go? Triple Chariots are cycle charging some Zombos, trying to avoid the animated Hulks. Alright, good stuff. But that Lamprey's Revenge is very healthy and has a ton of ammunition, which is going to try to shotgun down these Wargores. And I struggle to see what is going to kill all them off. A pistol summon comes out from the Vampire Fleet Admiral, and she's fine with that. Balance of power gets a little worse for the Beastmen. I'm kind of... now that I've looked at the battlefield, I'm surprised it's even this good for the Beastmen. Things are looking real rough. As Lamprey's Revenge have caught their target, the Great Bray Shaman is trying to push his way through some animated hulks. One of the Wargores is going to rout, the other one's at half HP. But the Lamprey's Revenge are here, and they are hungry. What is that? Another Fate of Unit, this time onto a Depth Guard, is going to take that unit off the field. Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff there. This healthy unit is a summon. So the Vampire Coast is getting whittled down a little bit. We do have archers firing into these animated hulks and the Crabos. How is the other 2 Depth Guard doing? That one's back to 2/3 HP because of regen. That one's still at 1/3 because of regen. I think that's going to be tough. How about a small unit tier icon in the corner of those banners? Easiest way to improve clarity? Yeah. I want to know where Mahogany falls, A or S? Oh, you're asking wood tier. Yeah, wood tier. Where does Mahogany fall on your tier list of wood? Another pistol summon overcast from the Vampire Fleet Admiral as the chariots are going to roll in. They're going to hit the zombie mobs, and they do decent damage, but they just don't have the mass to really push through undead like that. I think the biggest problem left on this map is the 2 depth guard that are still rather healthy and regenning, and the Lamper's Revenge that are extremely healthy and regenning. I think there's just nothing left to deal with them. Even if these archers rally, they don't have armor-piercing missiles or anything, so they'll shoot and shoot and shoot, and they'll do decent damage, but not a lot. What did the Beastmen do against shotgun crabs? Traderkin, Minotaurs, throwing axes, Razor Gore herds. All those things are good, but they're weak against other stuff. And, I mean, Big JP did have Minotaurs. They just got dealt with by other things. I don't know what he can do. The regen is just too strong at this point. Like, Depth Guard are actually healing off of fighting these harpies. Just tuned in. Strap-brought infantry. What the fuck is going on? It's a weird time. He's playing Vampire Coast and he's bringing real builds. Did Wood Tier ever tell us what tier Mahogany was? Because I would be interested to know. He would be an expert in such thing. Another Fate of Buna onto these Depth Guard. After they fought in the corner for so long, regenerating and doing all of their stuff, JP just comes over and drive-bys them like that, and they are dead. You know, his Fate of Buna's finished off 2 of the Depth Guard. I wonder if, like, that first one had been on a Depth Guard, not a zombie, just due to, like, obvious accident of them having the same unit icon. I wonder how that would have gone, because that probably would have taken out the 3rd Depth Guard too. Depth Guard did well. Lamper's Revenge did well. Animated Hulks did fine. Dogs did fine. And the front line did fine. For Big JP, the Hero Corps, they really didn't get a lot of monetary value, but they were disruptive. Fate of Unicaster did great. Minotaurs, ooh, they got really low value. I thought they were doing okay, but they actually got quite low value. Ogre Raiders did okay. And the front line of the Beastmen did fine. Harpies also did decently well, but the Minotaurs way underperformed. Strat Game will be going to the finals. But who will join him there? Will it be Incarnation or Platypus, Kislev, or the Lizardmen? Find out now on Dragon Ball Z. 1, 2, 3. And then we gotta get a blocker up real fast before we show a build. Boop. We're in. Tom Bombadil, hey. When I'm flaming a teammate in League, I'll say things like Balsa Wood, 8 cat mid. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. So 2 games left for the night. We have this one. Then we have a final with Strat Game. All right, we're in. Sorry, I messaged Incarnation. He was asking if I was here, and I'm like, yep, I'm here. Hey, Strat Game. So we have another wild Kislev pick. I never see Kislev do well. Maybe today's the day. Kislev, some sort of Tempest Witch. Don't know what spells she has on her. And then we have 2 heavy War Sleds. And some other stuff. I guess we'll just cast it like normal people instead of screaming it all on the starting screen. Scroot BMing Knighthood on the quick battle ladder. What the hell? Alright. Finishing up what we were talking about, we do have Kislev out here. We have a Frostmaiden of Tempest with Blizzard. Why? I hate that spell. It sucks. And Gust of True Flight. Why do we have Blizzard? It sucks. God, I hate Blizzard. It's just not good. We do have the 2 Zargard we mentioned earlier. Just one. Just one. Frontline of Armored Kossars, the shielded and pistol variant. We have 1 Streltsy. We have 2 heavy War Sleds. And that appears to be the whole build with 2 Winged Lancers. Okay. Cool. On the other side, for the Lizzies, we do have a Horned one. Interesting. Cohort of Sotek, Red Crested Skinks. We do have a Salon Mage Priest of Life. Oh god, no. Dwellers Below, Regrowth, Earthblood, and then other Salon things. Double Ancient Salamander. Salamander Hunting Pack, the Umbral Tide. A whole bunch of Feral Cold ones. A whole bunch of Skinks, and some Skink Skirmishers. Okay, so it's like kind of kite. It's kind of kite. It's not the height of degeneracy. Yeah. It's really just to have an old Warhammer 2 army save for Norska. Yeah. Rhett Ukastalton? Yeah. He's an interesting pick. I don't know how well he's going to do, but he is interesting. So this is a fine build from Incarnation. I'm just scarred. This is a fine build. Oh, it's a Bastillon with a Rev Crystal. Nice. So even more healing. He's going to try to kite. I don't know how well it's going to work for him on this map. And also because his opponent isn't boxing, his opponent has a push. We have like a really strong front line. We have some moderate cav. I don't want to call them heavy cav because Wing Lancers are just but whatever. I guess technically they're heavy cav. We have some heavy chariots. Kislev, so yeah, Kislev's going to walk at you. And there's only going to be so much time for these Ancient Salamanders to fire. What is softer, Balsa Wood or Azurai? Girls? Probably the Azurai. Probably. There's no trustable builds for Beastmen in the VP, and a Scarlet build that has a lot of utility against VP, though. Alright, how do you think the Horned ones are going to do? Bad or poorly? Taking all bets. Bad or poorly? There we go. And we're off. Lizardmen Kite versus Kislev. I think Incarnation's used to more boxy builds from Kislev. Probably like Zargard with great weapons. With Streltsy or something. But it looks like the heavy war sleds are just going to get Gust of True Flight and walk up and do a lot of damage. Now, the Lizardmen have tons and tons of healing for them. But this is actually pretty smart from Platypus, because if you look at it, all of their skirmish elements don't do well versus heavy war sleds. Literally none of them do. The only things that do well are the Horned ones or the Feral Cold ones. And the Horned ones and Feral Cold ones will get shot a lot while they chase these guys, so they're not going to have a good time. Meanwhile, the Ancient Salamanders get a shield the old ones while they finally get to fire against stuff they want to fire against, but Winged Lancers come sprinting out of the trees, and they're probably going to catch these Salamanders? The Salamanders have 75 speed, Jesus Christ. And the Winged Lancers juke them! They weren't even going for them, they were going for the Hunting Pack, and now the Hunting Pack is forced to run away. Its speed is 70, but they're not going to get out of here, and there's no Feral Cold ones nearby to help out. This is a really good start. Really good start from Kislev. God damn. That's going to be very nice for them. Salamanders try to spread out into this weird defensive formation, but it's not really going to work. They take not as much damage as I would have thought because they just get, like, they kind of squeak away just due to reasons, I guess. And a good predictive banishment, but it does look like the Wing Lancers are going to be able to dodge it. And they'll get a charge onto Feral Cold Ones, which should go well for them. Feral Cold Ones are cheap and armor-piercing, though, so overall the Wing Lancers not going to have a great time, but they should rout off the Feral Cold Ones without too much issue. Heavy War Sleds and Heavy Cav taking out these Skink Skirmishers, and Platypus is just not having any of this skirmish bullshit. He is not about that life. He has rolled over these Skink Skirmishers. Those Heavy War Sleds did a lot of damage. Now this could get rough, though. If they get stuck in combat with these horned ones? Where are the horned ones? There. If they ever get caught in combat with these horned ones, they're going to have a really bad time. If they're caught in combat with the Feral Cold Ones, again, they'll trade down because the Feral Cold Ones are so cheap with armor piercing. So they're going to want to get out of here. This Heavy War Sled may have gotten a little too big for its britches, but it is going to get away. It's next to Consultant. You can maybe heal it up, or you can just bail it out. But so far, Platypus is up in the damage value. And he could have a potential really big break over here. If he could break these Skinks and these Feral Cold Ones, the Winged Lancers could charge them down while the Heavy War Sleds fuck off and do their own thing. Now, Streltsy are trying to shoot at the Horned Ones running away, but they're obstructed by their own guys, kind of, sort of, because, I don't know, reasons, I guess. And the Ancient Salamanders are back to kiting. So Incarnation not going down without a fight, but he has had a rough start to this game. Very rough start. Gestalten sitting in the middle of rampaging Feral Cold Ones. This was part of the strategy where if the Feral Cold Ones come out to fight the sleds at all, they'll get rampaged, and then you can just back off, shoot them with pistols, and they get pushed away rather effectively. Red Crested Skinks are going to get in a fight with Armored Cossars, which they wanted until they got side-charged by Winged Lancers. Then they don't want it as much anymore, and Feral Cold Ones are again going to charge in. Feral Cold Ones have made a lot of things really good for Lizardmen with their buffs they got coming to Warhammer 3, so it is good to see them getting used effectively. Ancient Salamanders going into melee against the Winged Lancers, who have taken a lot of damage, though do remember they are Kislevite, they can go unbreakable for a little bit. We do have the Horned One charge coming in. I just remember that some people sometimes ask me to get better, like, action shots, so I will try to do that. Where are we going, Horned Ones? Nowhere? Alright, they ran away. That's what you get for trying to do an action shot, I guess. The side area never really broke. It looks like these Skinks and Feral Cold Ones are able to still muck up the Kislevite plans. And Winged Lancers are running in with a bit of Gestalten's help, giving them 67 melee attack as they desperately try to fight the Umbral Tide with the last of their models, and Gestalten himself chases around the life slime. Balance of power is actually slightly Lizardman favored at this moment, as a huge blizzard is going to land and hit Feral Cold Ones and the cohort of Sotek, but it's really just not doing a lot of damage considering how much Winds of Magic it is, and I do, in fact, hate that spell. More Feral Cold Ones and more Skinks are getting pushed off. Gestalten needs to fall back as some Zargard are going to take the heat for him, but he's currently surrounded by Horned Ones, and someone's got to help him out. He is not enjoying that whatsoever. Now, thankfully, most of them are just T-posing on him, but that doesn't make it okay. Zargard are desperately fighting. Currently going to get banishmented and fired upon. And those poor souls are now all dying. But the banishment might do a bit of friendly fire. No, it's just going to perfectly arc around in just the Zargard. Where are our War Sleds? How are they doing? They're both actually still rather healthy considering all that's happened to them. And these are some dead-ass Skink Skirmishers. They're not going to have a good day at all. Winged Lancers are back, and they are immediately charging onto the Umbral Tide. Good control from him. Platypus immediately realizing when his units are back that they need to get back into the action. At this point, I am getting a little scared for the forces of the Lizardmen. I worry they don't quite have carry potential to hold on to this game, but also I guess Kislev is looking rather tattered as well. It's not like they're just vibing. The Umbral Tide could at last be taken down, and Gestalten is going to sprint forward. He does have armor piercing, well, he doesn't have anti-large, and he's going to fight the Pistolodon with the Revivification Crystal. More pistol fires coming in for the Umbral Tide, really trying to finish them off and get them out of here so they can't just rally and get healed up. How else are we doing? On the far side, Kislev is fighting for their lives against Infinite Skinks, and the Heavy War Sleds are coming in to aid Gestalten. Both Salamanders are still alive. Both of them have decent amounts of ammunition. The Slann himself is still alive. He's throwing down more healing. And the Horned Ones getting hit by a blizzard at the moment don't seem to care too much, though it did get rid of some Skinks. Horned Ones are also nearly healing capped. Skinks are skirmishing at Gestalten. He has a little bit of healing left to himself, I imagine. He probably has... Yes, he does have healing if he ever gets low, but he also has the Sullyx Lullaby, which I wonder if he'll use on the Heavy War Sleds or not. Horned Ones are back in the fight. Like we said earlier, their healing cap is visible, but is not happening just yet. And the last 6 red-crested Skinks are fighting these Streltsy, stopping them from firing, so that is pretty good. Unfortunately, the Salamanders have betrayed the Lizardmen and shot their own Skinks in the back, and the Yes, the horned ones. I almost said the feraled horned ones. The horned ones plow right through these armored Kossars, and they are staying on top of these sleds, so they're not getting a lot of good attacks off, because chariots be chariots. Kislev decided, listen, there's nothing good at fighting in the back line here, so I'm just going to keep running after stuff, and you're going to have to deal with it. Something's going to have to fight me someday. Is it the salamander? Is it the slan? Is it the river crystal? Something's got to fight me. Meanwhile, horned ones are continuing to get kited, and this is really the big play of the game. If these horned ones can really shut down these chariots and stop them from firing, they'll probably win the game. But if they can't, I don't see anything left that can even kill Kislev, much less these chariots. Streltsy are just opening up on these horned ones from the side, and the horned ones decide to abandon it. They will instead charge the Streltsy. Hey, let's see him go. Pretty big damage onto the Streltsy. Now the Streltsy are doomed, but since you stop chasing the chariots will now shoot at you as well. This platypus fights kite with kite. Balance of power is still dead even. Damage value, Incarnation is clawing his way back from an early deficit. But I just don't know if it's going to be enough, as the horned ones are finally going to rout. They took an entire Streltsy with them, though, even at their low health pool point. So, good for them. I honestly think they did well. Yeah, they did fine. They had a lot of healing support, but they did fine. Kislev pushes off one ancient salamander that's now getting healing, and the Bastildon is going to chase him away. He doesn't have that much healing left himself until he gets nice and low. Another Blizzard cast is coming in from Platypus onto some Skink Skirmishers who have no ammo, but there's not a lot of better targets, so might as well just take care of them. These Skink Skirmishers are healthy and have tons of ammunition, but they're currently getting run down by heavy war sleds, so they will probably have a horrible, horrible fate. Probably? Somehow the heavy war sleds with 56 speed versus the 48, they just aren't catching up to them, and now they're getting caught on themselves. They're having a tough time over there. The Zargard have rallied and are currently hidden, though they'll probably walk up to a salamander and die rather quickly. Streltsy, the last of them that are around, are poking down the Bastildon with the Vivification Crystal, forcing more healing resources out of Lizardmen. And still these fucking bears haven't caught the goddamn skinks! They're just stuck on each other. They're not having a good time. Anyway. Balance of power goes slightly Lizardman favored. I know they're probably using a lot of healing. I just struggle. I struggle to see what kills Kislev and the heavy war sleds. I'm really not seeing it, but the balance of power seems to think I'm missing something. Salamander's trying to shoot at Kislev, who's chasing around the Rev Crystal. He's decided that's probably the best target for him. And now the Zargard will charge in, but you can see the Ancient Salamanders in melee do have armor piercing, so the Zargard are not that safe. Slan gets a big overcasted Earthblood onto all four of these single entities. And Kislev is going to recharge in here and get chopping away. Incarnation's very healthy Skink Skirmisher has run too far away. It looks like it was kiting away from the heavy war sleds, but it didn't realize that it stopped getting chased. These horned ones are back with 7 whole models and nearly heal capped, but they're technically here, so good for them. Kislev in here. Kislev fighting with the Bastildon, trying to take out some more of the healing, since he knows the Slan has tons of healing, right? But it's been using its Winds of Magic, so he just wants to start poking down this Rev Crystal, who does throw out its last shot onto a now heal-capped Ancient Salamander. Kislev and his Frost Tempest lady friend are going to fall back to their forces. They have some heavy infantry moving up in the Kossars and the Streltsy, though Salamanders have plenty of ammunition to take them out, so I think Kislev is mostly going to be relying on the Bariots and Kislev, who does pop Cilia's Lullaby, not on his chariots. He popped it on his infantry, interestingly enough. But the Ancient Sallies are going to take care of all his infantry, for sure. Armored Kossars are about to rear charge by horned ones. Let's see if they have their Kislev passive, because if they don't, they're about to break. Alright, later, taters. And here we go. Gust of True Flight onto the Streltsy, giving them increased range so they can fire at something. It looks like they're firing at that Rev Crystal. Again, just trying to poke it down as the horned ones charge in. The horned ones go out, and they are going to break one more time. Nope, their leadership's still positive because reasons. There, it's negative, and they shatter. They shatter after they get some healing. That's also good. That's also dandy. Heavy war sleds are all piling up onto the Slan. Salamanders have stopped firing at the Streltsy. It looks like they just got new attack orders. Yes, now they are attacking the Streltsy, but for a while there, they gave up on it. And can Kislev carry this whole game on his back? Man, imagine if it was Boris Ursus right now. The Boris is also more expensive, and then you don't get healing. I'm not trying to say that, like, Kislev was a bad choice. I'm just saying, like, imagine Boris right now in this situation. He would just go apeshit, get like 8,000 value. The heavy war sleds are fighting the salamanders, but like I just said, the salamanders actually have really good armor-piercing values in melee combats. The sleds are not enjoying that fight at all. Skink skirmishers are back. If the sleds notice this, they should just go over there and fight the skink skirmishers. They can take out that whole unit, and they will do rather well, rather than fighting the salamanders. Well, they'll do, like, no damage in melee, and they'll take a bunch from the armor-piercing. So, I think the sleds should 100% go for the skirmishers, and it looks like Platypus has realized that. He's sending this one after it with attack orders over there. The Streltsy are going to keep firing. It looks like they're moving forward for now, just to get behind their war sleds. But now the salamanders are charging into melee combat, which I think is fine. Meanwhile, Kistalton has been doing his damnedest. He's just fighting this Rev Crystal, trying to take it out. And the Slan 1v1s the Frostmaiden of Tempest, beats her into the dirt, and she starts running for it. Lizardmen take a pretty commanding lead on the balance of power. Kistalton's trying to take out this damn Bestowing with the Rev Crystal, but can't quite do it. Streltsy are running away from the Skink Skirmishers, and now they're routing from the Skink Skirmishers. Armored Kossars are back, Zargard are back. They just need to come over here and actually start helping out. Kistalton's getting real low. He hasn't started regenning yet, because he's not low enough to regen, I guess. But he's going to keep chasing that Bestowed on Rev Crystal. Oh my god, he's so low. He's so low. He's going to rely heavily on passive regen. The Frostmaiden is back. The Zargard are here. The Armored Kossars are coming over. It looks like we just have a big walk party over as chariots try to chase down skirmishers. Salamanders try to chase down Kistalton and the chariots. Kistalton's trying to chase down the Rev Crystal. Everybody's just running. Everybody's just running in the same direction. Kistalton's low enough that he can finally start getting healed. Yeah, he finally starts regenerating up a little bit. Just a little bit. Kistalton's going to pop towards battle him, giving all of his guys 73 melee attack. They're going to do his damnedest. Meanwhile, the heavy war sleds are going to keep chasing the Rev Crystal while they are being followed by the ancient salamander. I bet everybody wishes that Kistalton was over there right now, but he's stuck. He's in the middle of all these skinks, and he just needs to deal with it. Frostmaiden of Tempest is here. I don't think she has enough for another Blizzard in her. I definitely don't think that that one's true. 2 shots left from the ancient Sally. Can he do it? I still think Kislev has a decent shot in this game if they just don't army loss. Because Kistalton's going to be regenning a lot, so his heal cap is his actual health bar. And there's actually a good amount of armored Kossars left. Heavy war sleds do get peeled away from the Rev Crystal, and they go back to fight the ancient salamander. They get a decent charge onto it, but they're just going to get their asses kicked. That's unfortunate. They should have kept after the Rev Crystal or something. Army loss is getting real close. Is the salamanders? Yep, there's army losses. Everything that hasn't already broke once is going to break, and Kistalton will be left fighting on his own. Damn. Very nice. Very nice from both players. It was a really solid game, but that's the Incarnation build. It can be really annoying to fight because it's just like so much healing. So much healing. And he really likes using those ancient salamanders. Their armor piercing in melee really helped him out this game. They took out those heavy war sleds. On the other side, Kistalton, the Frostmaiden, did fine. Heavy war sleds did excellently. Streltsy did excellently. The Cav did fine. Armored Kossars did well. And the Zargard, unfortunately, got punked. Told you the Hornwoods would win the game. Did they win the game? Did they? They got heal capped. They did less than a lot of the single entities. The only one they beat was the healing single entity. I don't know. I don't know about those horned ones. Alright, finals time. Strat game versus Incarnation. Only reason he won? I think he could have had other units do the same thing, but alright. But alright. That was a big yawn. I'm sorry about that. Why was this lobby called Strat Game versus Blank? What the fuck? Okay. No, that's black. Why are there so many strat game lobbies that strat game isn't dead? Especially the strat versus ... Alright, strat's inviting me back to an old lobby. It's strat versus ... But I was just in there and it was, Incarnation was in there, not strat. And now strat's in here. What the hell? I just joined this and you weren't in here and Incarnation was in here. Why is Incarnation... What? What is this? Beat up Gestalten, neutered the Streltsy, and took all the ammunition out of Platy's units without breaking. I mean, I think the Salamanders beat up Gestalten. Like, the Horned ones did about 1/3 of his original HP, but he healed a lot of that since then. I don't know. Because they're like 1,500 gold, and they didn't even pay for themselves after getting healed capped. I wish Cold One Spear Riders were good. Because then they could have done that same job for less. But their stats are just too low. Strat is Incarnation, that explains everything. This is it. The finals. Coast versus Lizardmen is traditionally very, very Coast favored. But we'll see. Spear Riders are good in Warhammer 2, if I remember correctly. What happened in Warhammer 3? I don't know. They just perform like shit right now. I have not had success with Cold and Spear Riders. And I agree, they used to be good, but... how they just blow. 26-26 melee stats is pretty low. I think the main thing is that they're slow. They're so slow. Can't pick a lot of engagements that they want to take. They are Zipupkev. Zipupkev. Strat game looks ready. What he's thinking. Incarnation is hovering a Bretonian build. That's good. They are slow boys. They are slow boys, Wood Tier. Also, Wood Tier, you never gave us the tier rating of Mahogany. I think we deserve that much. If Platy has Boris there, I think he wins. Yeah, he would also have to have a Patriarch, though, and that does take a lot of fun, so I understand the reasoning. But I agree I would rather have Boris there, but I'm playing Devil's Advocate because I understand why he took Gestalten. They just fulfill different functions. Spear Riders feel a lot like Necropolis Knights. Necropolis Knights are just trash. Oh shit, Coop said they're good and I said they're trash. He's gonna find that out after the delay. Fuck. Mahogany is S tier. Wood tier refuses to rate the tier the tier of Mahogany, and that makes me sad. I guess Travis is just going to do it for him. And I agree, Mahogany is S tier. Even though I don't think I've ever had a Mahogany anything in my entire life. Like, I don't think I've experienced Mahogany. So with zero experience and information, I can confidently say yes. All right. Incarnation is taking a bit. My hands are tied. I see. Oh boy. So while he figures that out, I don't know what's taking so long, but while he figures that out. So what do we have? Strat game. Y'all are with me, right? Yeah. Okay, strat game. Incarnation. Central Scrutinizer. We're gonna have to make that much smaller. Let's go with a 7. Boop. Big JP. Let's see if I can do all the top 8 by memory. We had Call HR. We had Platypus. We had Golden Floof, right? Golden Floof beat Blood Penguin, but he lost to Platypus. Who did Incarnation beat? That's the only one I'm missing. Oh, he beat Call HR. I have everyone then. It's Black Knight. God damn it. We even spectated that game. All right, Black Knight. Okay, I'll add their little faction tokens in later. Okay, so besides the top 8, again, we're waiting for Incarnation to build his build, so I'm just doing this. So besides the top 8, what do we have? Dwarves, we already have Dwarves. Empire, we already have Empire. Zinch, I don't think we have a Zinch. We don't have a Zinch. So Everchicken is our Zinch. We don't have a Wood Elf. We don't have a Wood Elf because Call HR was a Wood Elf, but he's in the top 8. So, well done, Call HR. You allowed AC Maiden to also qualify. Right. Ogres. Because Scroot was also Ogres, but he's in the top 8. So we have Ogres, Tomb Kings. Okay, so Coops is Tomb Kings, John FB is Ogres. Incarnation still hasn't picked a single unit for his build, so don't worry, we're not missing anything yet. So John FB. Coops. I think that's it, because Lizardmen and Kislev, their reps are in the top 8. So I still need Lizardmen, Kislev, Slanesh, and Greenskins. Cool Umbrella said he wanted to play and he couldn't make it tonight, and he's also done a lot for this community, so I'm just going to put him in here. I know Butcherbird also wanted to play Green Beans. I could talk to him off stream and see what he wants to do, because technically with this slot he could be anybody. And we already have 2 Ogres. Lizardmen are still thinking about their build, so you haven't missed anything yet. Kislev, Lizardmen, and Slanesh. I do still need to go get. Okay, stream stuff. What's going on in this chat? Still no Greenskins, not sure the Kislev. Did you play in the tourney, qualify for next tournament? Yeah, I played, I'm a Skaven rep. I got to the finals versus Void Laws. Yeah, I got to play Void in the finals. It was a good time. Default. I mean, you showed up, which is more than a lot of people can say. Okay, again, we're just waiting on them to build builds, so I'm going to do this stuff to occupy some of our time rather than just staring at a screen blocker. So we have Strat Game on the coast, Incarnation on the Lizardmen. I'm going to keep those little black boxes there to remind me who qualified in the top 8. Ogres for Dr. Scroot. Big JP on Beastmen. Because it'd also be a good shorthand for me to know who's playing doubles. You know, if I'm like looking around, I'm like, oh, we could use another Beastman. It's like, nope, we already have 2. Big JP on L Beastmen. Call HR. It's funny that we have 2 Wood Elves. That's pretty funny, considering their current state of game. Kislev. Golden Floof was what? Tomb Kings? Yeah, that makes sense. That's the first double faction that's actually made sense, because Tomb Kings are real strong. Black Knights, High Elves. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I need a Lizardman, I need a Kislev, I need a Slanesh, and I need a blank. I need a blank that's not one of these. Okay. Yeah, I can probably find people to do that. Cool, cool. It's all lining up. Blood Penguin on Slanesh is terrifying. Yeah. He's also quite good at Kislev. Whoever on greenskins, I don't care that much. Trying to make the War Dancers work, yeah. Poor Will Francesco. He was looking for someone to fight. Lizards, Kislev, Slanesh, and blank. That seems fine. Holy shit, Incarnation's still making a build. All right, he's ready. We're doing it. We're getting in there. This is the last game of the night, and it's double Salamander and Ancient Stegodon! Can you see now why I maybe don't like playing against Incarnation sometimes? I would have fought Will, but IRL shit put me in a bad mood. I'm sorry, Bird. That's no fun. Last game of the night. All that wait for basically the same build. Yep. Double Feral Cold One, triple Feral Cold One. We have 3 Skink Skirmishers. We have a Stegodon. We have the double Salamanders, a Salon Mage Priest of Life with Dwellers Below, Earthblood, and Regrowth. We had Red Crested Skinks, double Saurus, more Red Crested Skinks, and a bunch of Skink cohorts. Excuse me. On the other side for Strat Game, we have 4 Pistol Mobs, double Dogs, quadruple Animated Hulks, 1 Lamper's Revenge, double Zombie Bombers, Vampire Fleet Admiral with pistols with Zombie Summon and Invocation Heck. We have the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard. We have more Depth Guard with pole arms. And then a bunch of Pokestick zombies. There it is. So it is triple Pokey Depth Guard. Is it? God, it is so hard to find what I'm looking for. Oh, the money went into the bombs. Okay. So it's the same build we're used to seeing, but cut 1 Depth Guard for double bombs. And again, the Depth Guard are the Pokey versions. I have no idea why you'd ever hate playing against Incarnation. Kite is probably the best way to deal with the current coast OP bullshit. Yeah, I meant the fact that his builds take a really, really long time, and then usually it's just like healing single entities and a lot of kiting. I don't know. Like it's not a playstyle I enjoy. So then when I'm playing for fun, I'll avoid him. Like if I'm playing him in a tournament, it's not like I'm gonna dodge the tournament. Like, well, GG, I refuse to play this individual. It's just like I don't enjoy his playstyle. So when I'm playing for fun, I'll usually dodge him. But like, it's not really an issue. Like, there are times I've dodged Phoenix King because I didn't feel like getting kited, you know? And Phoenix King's a super nice guy, so it's not like that. It's just sometimes when I'm playing for fun, I don't like to play certain playstyles. The Lizardmen build here is interesting. Alright, let's see how the Lizardman kite does. So Strat's just going to want to walk up. This Lizardman build is much better against artillery and cannon pieces and such, which weren't brought at all. So, we'll see. Stegodon won't have a lot of great targets. I guess it could shoot at Depth Guard or the Lamprey's Revenge or Animate Hulks, but I haven't seen it doing that much damage to them. It mostly does better against cannons. You don't enjoy Poison Wind Knighthood? That's fair. That's fair. You brought the RWR TG here at one point. The Temple Guard? Ooh, I feel like that would do very poorly against bombs. Yeah. I don't know, Knighthood. After I played a 30-minute game against this build, I was like, okay, that's enough of that for me. Forever. I'm done. So, I avoid it if I can. Stegodon is just going to focus down the Lamprey's Revenge. I don't know how much damage he'll do. I've lost a lot of faith in this poor guy. Lizardmen don't have much magic damage. I suppose that's true. But with Dwellers Below and Banishment, and then the Salon does magic damage, I think he'd be okay against Sirens. Maybe not like 4 Sirens, but some he could be okay. Is that advanced? Map dependent build. Nice. Sallies are for now focused down the pistol mobs, which is alright. I mean, they have a good amount of ammo, so maybe they're not worried about running out against the Depth Guard. Take out the pistols, and then without any counter skirmish, you could just walk up and skirmish forever? I don't know. We'd have to see. Right now, the pistol mobs do have fire while moving, so they're just walking forward, taking pot shots at the Sallies, who are going to scuttle away. Stegodon's still firing at the Lamprey's Revenge. But, buckle up. Buckle up, friends. This is going to be a whole thing. Stegodon kiting away as the Salamander pushes back up. Salamander is going to fire at the pistol mob. And they might get a 2-for-1 if they can manage to hit those bombers, too. Yeah, I get a little bit of damage in there. There's also a build where I pretended to try and do a double flank overload, spin components, split the build into parts, then bring my melee commands against the fight, yeah. It's all about getting upset about matchups and builds and then crack them out. Yeah. I'd just rather play 2 games that were more interactive than one super long walking after Lizardmen game. Salamanders are trying to kite a little bit. Looks like they thought about firing at the animated Hulks, then decided against it, which is smart. They wouldn't do that much damage to them. So fire at bombers instead. They're used to their ammo in time. Pretty good damage. And they continue to kite back. Stegodon, however, is down to 13 shots. It's about half of his. And he hasn't really accomplished too much versus the Lamprey's Revenge. I mean, they're still like full health from all their regen, but even then, it doesn't feel like he's done that much damage to them. 368 firing at a very expensive unit, so. I don't know. Skink cohorts running forward. They will at last engage in some zombie and dog action, though that'll probably be the death of them. These bombers are not in position to punish the Saurus, which could actually be a pretty good call out. If those salamanders take out both of the bombers, I don't know what can kill the Saurus in a timely fashion. The Lamprey's Revenge and stuff can grind them out. Ooh, and yeah, and Depth Guard. Okay, yeah, there's Depth Guard. We'll be fine. For some reason, my brain was like, these are all zombies. I like these battles more tactical than a blob. Yeah, not every melee fight is a blob, though. Like, yes, this is more tactical than a blob, but not a lot of people actually enjoy blobs. Quick little banishment from Incarnation. It goes right up the depth guard with polearms. Really nice cast there. Didn't happen to go into any of his own Saurus either. But that being said, wow, it also hits the dogs. Jesus. Incarnation is in the spirit of the banishment today. Those things have just been working out for him. Anyway, depth guard didn't take that much damage, and now they are going to just regen up, and they are murdering these Saurus. My god. The Strat has fallen back with some of his dogs. Keep them a little safe, stop them from crumbling. Sallies continue to kite, continue to shoot. Stegodon's firing in at stuff. And we are having a big Dwellers Below cast, though not onto Depth Guard. Yes, not on Depth Guard. It is onto 2 dog units and a Zombie Deckhand Mob and the Lamprey's Revenge, so it's still a very good cast, don't get me wrong, but at least the Depth Guard was spared. A horrible, horrible fate. Red Crested Skinks, Saurus, and Skinks all pushed off as the Vampire Coast just destroy them in melee, which is not something you're traditionally used to saying about the coast. Salamanders do gag up another shot. Big damage onto those bombers who are now going to start crumbling, so Strat might want to stop and throw at them before they fully die out. But we will see. Incarnation is very far up on the damage value. But how long can the Vampire Coast hold out? Sallies are down to 8 shots, 7 shots, and then Stegodon is at 6. So pretty soon the ranged firepower will stop in a huge overcast. Ow! From the Vampire Fleet Admiral. Now, she has been getting poked also by the Stegodon. I know that wasn't all from the overcast, but it still did a lot of damage to her when she was trying to heal up bombers and pistols and stuff like that. Zombie Gunner Mob taking more shots from the Stegodons, and the Skink cohort run forward to fight with animated Hulks and halberds, so they're not really going to enjoy that too much. Bombers somewhere, there they are. These bombers are firing at the cohort of Sotek and doing pretty good work on them. We have another banishment. Let's see what direction it goes. Let's see if it goes out either direction or if it goes into the giant blob and continues to favor Incarnation. It does not go into the giant blob, so Strat Game got a little lucky on that one, but it does overall stay on course and keep eating up these pistols, but definitely not as lucky as it could have been. One depth guard with polearms is wandering way out into the fray, just looking for anyone to fight it for any reason, and it's hoping to get into melee to start regenerating up. Meanwhile, Feral Cold One gets a rear charge on some pistols and takes them out. Damage value continues to go up for Incarnation. Can he keep it going? As the depth guard are going to turn around, it looks like they will maybe attack the Slan, but no, they're just going to walk home. Taking a lot of damage. I think they don't want to bunch up around the Slan in case he has like a Dwellers Below or something up his sleeve. Nope, there it is. Dwellers Below, again going to hit a Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob, not the depth guard, interestingly enough. And it will also hit a Scurvy Dog, but kind of a big who cares on that one. Really surprised they haven't been getting used on the depth guard. Now, they're only 2 instead of 3. Both the depth guard aren't feeling too hot. Sallies are both out of ammo. Stegodon has 6 left. 2 to 1 is the damage value at the moment. Skink skirmishers are unloading. But I'm getting a little worried about the Lizardmen carry potential. You can see the damage value is like 2 to 1, but the balance of power is like, I think the coast has got it as the balance of power edges forward. That's kind of funny. Oh! Feral Cold Ones charge in, but they immediately rampage, meaning they're in it for life, and them and these skink cohorts are all gonna die. We do have 2 depth guard that are still regenerating up a little bit, and this could be a huge Dwellers Below for the Lizardmen. As the Vampire Coast start to dodge it, they try to get out of the way, and they get mostly out of the vortex, so they are going to take the damage per second, the Spirit Leech style damage over there. Coast do push off the Feral Cold Ones, they do also push off the Skinks, and these Salamanders just dive into the fray, getting a little bit of cycle charging down. We'll see if the Animated Hulk can lock them in place, but if they can keep cycle charging, they'll be just fine. Stegodon has 3 main shots left, Skink Skirmishers have tons of ammunition, and the Slan is there, but As far as the Lizardmen go, they've lost a lot of their front line. Like, the Saurus are all gone, as far as I can see. We have one healthy Feral Cold One, and that's it. So, like, all their skirmish units, out of ammo or no, are pretty much all the units they have left. For strat game, we do still have 2 Depth Guard, though one of them is supremely injured and near its heal cap. We have some pistols, though they're all feeling bad. Lamprey's Revenge is still alive, though they're also near their heal cap. We have 2 fancy, dancy animated hulks. Skink skirmishers continue to fire, but now they are firing into zombies, basic zombies, which is largely fine as far as strat game is concerned. He just kind of wants them to run out of ammo and get it over with. Feral Cold Ones again lured into the animated hulks and Lamprey's Revenge, and probably through Rampage, and then they got killed. Another big overcast just fucking murders this poor Vampire Fleet Admiral. Ow. Ow. Like, I get it, but also I don't get it. There are some times where people overcast Invocation to Heck where I'm like, is it worth it? Because if you overcast, it fucking sucks. How's Stego doing? Stego still has 3 shots left. Skink skirmishers are at a quarter and half ammo. And the Sallies are diving straight into animated hulks, so one of them does get surrounded. Animated hulk is crumbling, though. Is that a depth guard? No, it's a zombie. Okay. Pistols still have plenty of ammo on this side. Depth guard are doing alright. This animated hulk needs to stop crumbling for strat. Its leadership bar is false, and these Feral Cold Ones charge back in for a quick attack, and then they are going to die for the last time, and they'll finally shatter. Stego's out of ammo. Animated hulks have rallied. I have to account for kite in my builds in this case. I would rather not have taken VP against Lizardmen. I guess the counter kite would be cannons, maybe slashers, night summons. Maybe, but this build from Incarnation does deal very well with cannons. I know from experience. Also, Will, answer your DMs, you silly. Skink skirmishers are tearing apart one of the last zombie mobs, but that's also fine. That's what the zombies are here for. Depth guard slamming the skinks, and they get rid of the skinks. Vampire Coast move a little further ahead in the balance of power. And this lady, if she has any invocations in the heck left, she might want to use 1 or 2 on herself, but we will see. Bloody Reaver Depth Guard now get us around on the Stegodon, and we'll see how much damage they can actually do with the animated hulks nearby. We'll see. Skinks getting pew-pewed down. They continue to kite away. This one has tons of ammunition, but for some reason is running away. These other ones are just firing the last of what they have into the pistols, into deckhand mobs, into animated hulks, into really anything. Invocation to Heck, basic Invocation to Heck on the Lord, so she isn't gonna just delete herself. I was worried they were clumping up for an overcast, and then she was gonna like get another miscast and kill herself. Alright. Skink skirmishers, one of them runs out of ammo and sprints into melee combat. Meanwhile, the ancient salamanders also rush into some depth guard and the Stegodon. But a big Dwellers Below is gonna hit right here. It hits all 4 of these units. And Lamprey's Revenge are also feeling the burn pretty bad. One of the depth guard is gonna entirely die in the Dwellers Below. And the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard are barely going to hang on. A pistol summon comes out in the back from this lady. She does not overcast this time. She will be okay. Skink skirmishers are getting pushed off. We still have a very healthy pistol mob off on the side, and that one is not a summon as it's firing in. All 3 of the dinos are bumping and grinding, with the Slann Mage Priest going to heal them up. He's cast a lot of Earthbloods this game. He's cast a lot of Dwellers Below. He's got to be running out of... he's got to be running out of Wind's Magic. Okay. If I wasn't, I was asking for practice. Oh, it wasn't quick battle, you're asking for practice. Yeah, I see. Animated Hulks are chasing down some skirmishers, though they might just want to loop around and get a full surround onto these ancient salamanders and stuff. But, oh well. The Bloody Reaver Depth Guard have just got to be having the time of their life now that they finally get a fight. Yeah. They're getting big damage. Big damage out on these salamanders, and I think the Lizardmen might be doomed. Unless they have another Dwellers Below, though I feel like you wouldn't be committing to this fight like this if you had another Dwellers Below. Skink Skirmishers taking a lot of damage. Do decide to commit to the melee fight against these zombie pistols, just trying to take them out. This zombie pistol is eventually going to go away, and the Vampire Fleet Captain gets awful low from fighting that Sally, but she just fights back against it and ends up beating the shit out of it, and it runs away. Skink Skirmishers are getting broke off. All the dinos are getting broke off. The balance of power shifts against Incarnation. Strat Game has caught up on the damage values significantly. Whew. And he withstood. Strat Game withstood. It looks like the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard are pretty much heal capped. Lamprey's Revenge are pretty much heal capped. This is a summon, so it's going to go away in a second. There's 2 healthy animated Hulks. That is about it. Damn. As you can see, Incarnation is very good at this playstyle. But Strat Game is also quite good at the Vampire Coast. The Vampire Coast are very strong right now. Boom! Is done. Very well played to both players. Nice job. 2,800 damage value on the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard, 1,700 on the Lamprey's Revenge. Other Depth Guard got almost 1,000. Animated Hulks mixed, but mostly paid for themselves. Bombers, not too great because they got mostly kited. And Pistol Mobs, one did really well, the other ones got mostly kited. For Incarnation, really good value on his Slann. Pretty good values on his Salamanders and Stegodons. The Saurus got destroyed, which is a huge problem. Feral Cold Ones also got destroyed, which was a problem for him. And Skink Skirmishers did alright. VP cheated? How did they cheat? What happened? They didn't cheat. You're a liar. You're a liar. Faction War before or after patch? Right after patch. It's going to be after the patch. Because I have various sources. And it's a maybe. It's a maybe. But I am 80% sure the patch is next week. So, we'll see. But, yeah. That was the last... over that week, and 2 people, so I can't justify a third. Okay, so it's looking like Will Francesco is going to be our Slaanesh player. He was a newer player with Warhammer 3. I liked him a lot. He played Ogres a ton in the early days, and I just appreciated him a lot. Blood Penguin did agree to play Kislev or Slaanesh, and since I found someone for Slaanesh, that works. I'll find a Lizardman player, and then this mysterious person, I will also go find someone to play that for us. But this is looking like what it is going to be. So here we are. Only 2 spots not filled after our 2 tournaments. Now, if you are involved in this, you might be like, when is the faction war? What's going on? Strat Game just asked me if it's going to be before or after the patch. It's going to be after the patch. So pretty much as soon as the patch launches, I'm going to generate a bracket before the patch launches, right? But as soon as the patch launches, I'll be like, here's the bracket, here's the maps. Play your best of ones. The schedule should be play 1 best of 1 every 3 days, or faster if you want to, but like, you know, if you and your opponent can't find a time to get a game in 3 days, then that's a problem. Like, it's just 1 game. Come on. And then that goes from, let's see, 32, 16, 8, 4. And then I want to cast the 4 live. So then 32, 16, 8. So that would take us 9 days. So in like a week and a half, I'm hoping to get enough replays to get down to the top 4. Top 4 will do live, which I'll coordinate with whoever the top 4 are at that time. And yeah, so if you're playing this format, it should be over the week and a half and be chill, and then top 4 will be that. I'm thinking the finals will be best of 3, and it'll probably be land battle, domination, land battle. But I'll see how the players feel about that, just to mix it up. Because like I think a best of 3 of 2 factions facing each other in just land battle could be pretty one-sided. Like, yeah, the same faction's going to win twice in a row, it's over. So Dom could be interesting, because Dom does change how you play certain matchups. And I think it would be fun. And you know what? Sometimes I'm allowed to have fun. But everything else will be land battle for sure. So if you are involved and you're like, God, what day is it? I don't know if I can play. It's over the course of a week. You know, it'll be fine. All right. Okay. I'm going to end the stream there. You all have a great night. Did you actually verify Umbrella could play? Yeah. Yeah, he asked me because he missed this tournament, but he said he'd like to play if it was fine. So you may not have fun. Tee.